My beloved child, I need you to sit with me now, not just with your body, but with your heart. Put aside the noise for a moment, the distractions, the fear, the endless questions. Come into this quiet with me. I have something to say that will shift the way you've been carrying your story. Yes, I know you're tired. I see how heavy everything has been. I've watched you walk through seasons that tried to convince you that I had forgotten you, that maybe I had turned my face away, that maybe, just maybe, your voice didn't matter anymore. But hear me clearly now. You have not been forgotten. Not even for a second. Not even for a breath. Every time you cried alone and didn't know who would understand, I was there. Every step you took when no one cheered, I celebrated. Every decision you made to get back up, even when it felt pointless, I honored it. Even the moments you thought were failures, child, they were seeds. You thought you had been buried, but you were planted. There is a difference. The soil of silence that covered you was not meant to suffocate. It was preparing you for depth, for stability, for roots that would hold you steady when the storms came. I've been with you through every hidden chapter. I've watched how you stayed faithful in the unseen, how you continued to show up even when your heart was breaking, how you served without being noticed, how you encouraged others while secretly questioning your own worth. I was in every unseen offering. I held each unspoken prayer. You thought I was far away, but I was closer than your own breath. I stood beside you when you were misunderstood. I defended you when you were misjudged. I sustained you when you didn't even know how you were still standing. All of this was not unnoticed. Heaven has been paying attention. I have been paying attention. My child, I didn't forget your name. I didn't overlook your effort, and I certainly didn't abandon your purpose. What you've walked through was not a detour, it was preparation. What looked like delay was a divine pause to mature your spirit and deepen your wisdom. What felt like rejection was actually my protection. What seemed like silence was me speaking in the language of growth. I could have opened the door earlier. I could have let the platform come before the process was finished. But I love you too much for that. I wanted you to carry not just my gifts, but my heart. Not just influence, but intimacy. Not just calling, but character. This is what I've been forming in you. This is why it's taken time. And I know that it's been hard to wait. You watched others rise while you remained in the shadows. You celebrated their victories while questioning your value. You kept your faith even when you felt like a ghost in a crowded room. But here's what I need you to understand. I was never measuring you by visibility. I was measuring you by your surrender. The kind of surrender that still whispers yes when everything in you wants to give up. That kind of surrender is what transforms atmospheres. That kind of surrender changes lives. I never once forgot who you are. You did not fall off the radar of heaven. You are not invisible to me. You've been in the palm of my hand, and nothing, no loss, no failure, no delay has changed that. In fact, everything you've been through has only clarified your anointing. What you thought disqualified you has actually qualified you. Because you know what it is to break. You know what it is to bend without snapping. You know what it is to trust me without the benefit of evidence. And that is rare. That is precious. That is holy. I have been forging something in you that can only be formed in hiddenness, in silence, in waiting. I've been teaching you to hear my whisper, not just my shout, to lean into my presence, not just my power. I've been building your foundation so strong that when the doors open, you won't be shaken. When the opportunities arise, you won't collapse under the weight. When the favor comes, you won't lose your footing. You'll carry it all with peace, with clarity, and with love, because you'll know that it wasn't your doing. You'll know that it wasn't your striving. It was me. It's always been me, guiding, shielding, cultivating. And now, beloved, the shift has begun. You're stepping into the promise I whispered long ago, the one you thought maybe you imagined, the one you dared to hope for even when hope felt dangerous. It's real. It's happening. But it won't come with chaos, it won't come with pressure, it will come with peace, because I am not thrusting you into the future. I'm walking you into it, step by step, with intention, with gentleness, with grace. So don't panic. Don't try to accelerate what I've already aligned. Just stay close. Keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep surrendering. You are exactly where I need you to be. And everything is working together for your good. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not too broken. You are exactly on time. You are deeply known. You are fully loved. And you, my child, are about to see what I've been preparing for you all along. My child, I know there were days you wondered if you had been set aside, if the silence meant I had moved on, if the lack of answers meant your purpose had expired. But hear me now, the pause was never punishment. It was preservation. I was guarding what I placed in you. I was developing the strength you'd need for the journey ahead. You see, some growth cannot be accelerated. It must be cultivated layer by layer, through ordinary moments, through unnoticed faithfulness, through quiet trust. I was not ignoring you. I was investing in you. What you mistook for delay was actually the slow unfolding of something eternal. You've been waiting for a breakthrough, but I've been giving you something better. Roots. And child, roots aren't flashy. They grow in the dark. They don't attract applause, but they hold you steady when the winds come. And they will come, but you won't be shaken, because your foundation is me. I never wanted you to chase outcomes. I wanted you to find your identity in communion, in closeness, in being still and knowing that I am God, not just over the mountains, but over the valleys. Not just in your rising, but in your waiting. Not just in your clarity, but in your confusion. That's where we met, in the quiet, in the pain, in the stillness. And now that stillness has made you ready. Ready not just for the doors that will open, but for who you will be when they do. Because I care more about your becoming than your arriving. I care more about your wholeness than your hurry. You asked me to use you. You asked me to speak through you. You asked me to increase your impact. And I heard. But I couldn't build something lasting on a shaky sense of identity. So I invited you into the secret place, the refining place, the place where masks fall off and truth rises. And you said U7 when it felt like you were losing momentum. Even when it looked like others were sprinting ahead, even when your voice grew hoarse from praying, I saw it all, and I was moved. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. And now, beloved, I am bringing you into a new alignment. What was once unclear will gain definition. What was once delayed will suddenly accelerate. But remember this, it was never about speed. It was about substance. Because what I'm giving you can't be carried by performance. It must be carried by presence, my presence. Rest in that. Don't strive, don't scramble, don't compare. Just stay anchored. What's coming is not fragile. It won't slip through your fingers. Because it was never built by your hustle. It was built by my hand. The same hand that held you in the midnight hour. The same hand that lifted your chin when you couldn't lift your heart. The same hand that steadied your trembling faith. I am not distant from your pain. I am not indifferent to your weariness. I've wept with you. I've whispered strength to your soul in the loneliest stretches. I've remained constant, even when you questioned if I was near. And I'm still here. Unmoving, unchanging, unwavering in my love for you. I don't need you to impress me. I need you to trust me. You don't have to know the next 5 steps. You just need to stay close enough to take the next right one. You don't have to pretend to be strong. I am your strength. You don't have to fear falling behind. I am the one writing your timeline, and I do not rush my masterpieces. Yes, you heard me right. You are a masterpiece, not because of your achievements, not because of your perfect record, but because you are mine, formed by my hand, chosen by my heart, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can erase that. You've looked around and seen others in bloom while you still felt like bare soil. But child, spring always comes after the longest winters, and it doesn't ask permission. It arrives, it awakens what was dormant, it calls forth beauty from barrenness. That's what I'm doing in you now. The bloom is beginning, not in shallow soil, but in deeply tilled ground, ground made ready through surrender, through trust, through faith that held on, even by a thread. You don't need to brace for disappointment anymore. I'm not teasing you with hope. I'm fulfilling what I promised, but this time you'll carry it differently. Not as someone desperate to prove their worth, but as someone already convinced of their value. You've been refined. You've been readied. And now you are being released. Not like a rocket, but like a river. Steady, intentional, powerful in motion. Your pace doesn't need to mimic anyone else's. It just needs to match mine. And I walk with peace. I walk with purpose. I walk with eyes full of eternity. And I'm walking with you every step, every day, until the pieces come together, until the vision becomes visible, until you realize you were never behind. You were just being built. My beloved, let me say this slowly so your soul absorbs every word. You were never just surviving for survival's sake. Every breath you took in those shadowed seasons was sacred. Every time you forced a smile so others wouldn't worry, I saw through it. I wasn't fooled by the appearance of strength, because I knew the cost of each step you took while your heart quietly bled. You've carried more than anyone knows. Expectations that never belonged to you, grief you didn't know how to name, and a shrinking sense of self that came not from failure, but from exhaustion. You didn't give up, but somewhere along the way, you stopped expecting joy. You stopped expecting your voice to carry weight. You stopped believing that your dreams had a place at the table. And that's why I'm calling you not to hustle back into old rhythms, but to return to your original design. The one I envisioned before the disappointment, before the discouragement, before the broken promises and the long nights made you doubt your place in my plan. I need you to know this. I have not altered my blueprint. The pain did not change my mind. Your delays did not confuse me. Your detours did not surprise me. I accounted for all of it, and still I call you chosen. Still, I whisper purpose over your name. Still, I extend the invitation not to earn but to become. You have not aged out of your calling. You have not outsinned your destiny. You have not grown too weary to be used. What you think has been lost can be restored. What you thought was wasted time was actually sacred space. I'm not asking you to be who you were. I'm inviting you to become who you actually are, stripped of, striving, unshackled from shame, anchored in truth. Let me take you back, not to a past version of yourself, but to the purity of your original essence, the one that was woven in my image before fear distorted your lens. You are not your trauma. You are not your resume. You are not the failed expectations of others. You are my beloved, my reflection, my chosen instrument of healing in this fractured world. I don't need your performance. I need your permission. Will you let me rebuild what was broken? Will you let me breathe on the dreams you buried beneath layers of practicality? Will you let me rewrite the narrative that shame has been narrating over your life? I do not shame what is weak, I strengthen it. I don't expose wounds to embarrass, I reveal them to heal. I'm not coming for the polished parts of you, I'm reaching for the real you, the one that trembles in secret, the one that whispers prayers too raw to post online, the one that just wants to be seen and held and told, you still matter. And you do. You matter to me more than your mind can comprehend. Your weariness does not disqualify you. It draws me in. Your questions don't repel me. They invite my clarity. Your silence doesn't offend me. It gives space for me to speak. So please, stop waiting to feel spiritual enough. Stop waiting to feel completely healed before you move. Healing happens as you walk with me. You've spent long enough rehearsing your regrets. You've mourned the timeline that didn't come to pass. But now, let's build forward from this moment. From this version of you, not the imagined, perfected version, but this honest, slightly bruised, more compassionate, more humble version. This is who I love. This is who I can use. You've already proven your faithfulness when no one saw. You've already passed the test of private obedience. And now, I want to entrust you with more, not because you've earned it, but because I see you're ready. Ready to love without fear. Ready to speak without apology. Ready to move without needing the full picture. Yes, there will still be moments when old doubts try to revisit you, but now you have history with me. You have memory stones that say, he brought me through before, he'll do it again. And this time, your steps won't be frantic, they'll be firm. You'll walk in clarity, not because every detail is revealed, but because you know who walks beside you. That changes everything. You can release the need to strive. You can release the compulsion to earn what was always meant to be a gift. I'm not holding out on you. I'm holding space for you. Space to rise again. Space to stretch into your full stature. Space to rediscover wonder. You lost that for a while, didn't you? The capacity to believe that beauty could still grow from your story. But I am beauty from ashes. I am joy from mourning. I am redemption wrapped in love. And I am still writing your story with tenderness, with truth, and with timing that refuses to rush what must last. So slow down, not to delay progress, but to savor my presence, because presence, not performance, is what unlocks power. When you are fully present with me, you stop needing to prove yourself to others. You stop trying to compete in races I never asked you to run. You stop grasping for scraps when I've set a table before you. You stop comparing your lane to someone else's highlight reel. And you begin to live, fully awake, fully surrendered, fully loved. That's what I want for you. Not a frantic sprint toward the next big thing, but a grounded walk in step with me. And step by step, we will go into clarity, into purpose, into healing, into promise, into everything I saw when I formed you. Not what the world demands from you, not what fear whispers to you, but what I declared over you before time began. You are mine, you are chosen, and you are not done. My beloved, I want you to come with me now, not to a place of performance, but into the inner room, the quiet space, the sacred center of who you are. The place you've tried to tidy up so many times, hoping it would finally feel holy enough to invite me in. But I'm not afraid of the mess. I'm not repelled by the clutter. I see through the layers of stored pain, the drawers stuffed with disappointment, the corners where fear still lingers, and I love you still. I'm not here to critique the condition of your soul. I'm here to cleanse it, not with condemnation, but with compassion. Not by pointing fingers, but by extending my hands. The same hands that shape the stars are ready to touch the places in you that feel too fragile to expose. I know how long you've kept certain thoughts to yourself, the cycles you couldn't seem to break, the bitterness that quietly built up, the exhaustion from carrying unspoken burdens. I'm not coming to accuse, I'm coming to renew. There is no shame in your healing, only grace, only light. And when light enters, shadows flee not because you force them out, but because they cannot survive where I dwell. So let me dwell in your inner room. Let me move the things you thought were permanent fixtures. Let me gently open the doors you closed long ago. The ones that hide your loneliness, the ones that keep your grief behind glass, the ones where hope used to live before it got buried beneath heartbreak. I know that part of you doesn't want to look. It feels easier to keep going, to keep performing, to keep pretending that you're fine. But I'm not interested in your pretend strength. I'm after your real heart, the trembling one, the guarded one, the one that only lets a few people in, and even then, never fully. I want that heart, because that's where I can do my deepest work. That's where freedom begins. Not in your outer accomplishments, but in your inner surrender. You don't need to fear what I'll find. I already know it all. And I've never once flinched. I've never recoiled at your weakness. I've never been shocked by your struggle. I've never been impatient with your healing. You've asked, why haven't I moved past this? You've tried the formulas, the self-help, the forcing of positive thinking. But healing doesn't come through force. It comes through presence. And I am presence. I am the presence that stills your anxious thoughts, that quiets the inner critic, that replaces striving with stillness. I'm not asking for another promise you can't keep. I'm asking for one simple thing, your yes, your quiet, trembling, hesitant yes. The one that says, I don't know how, but I trust you'll lead me. That's all I need. From that yes, I'll begin to wash what was wounded. I'll uproot what shame planted. I'll rewire the beliefs that told you you were too broken, too much or not enough. Those were lies. Lies that wore familiar voices. Lies that hid beneath spiritual language. Lies that even sounded like wisdom. But they were never from me. I don't speak in fear. I don't manipulate with guilt. I don't drive with pressure. I draw with love. And today, I'm drawing you back to who you really are. Not the version shaped by survival, but the one formed in my image. The one who once believed they could change the world. The one who dreamed before betrayal. The one who danced before disappointment, made joy feel dangerous. That child is still in you. And I'm not asking you to return to childishness. I'm inviting you to return to wonder, to trust, to simplicity. To a life where peace isn't rare, but regular. Where you don't have to fake smiles to be accepted. Where you don't have to hide parts of yourself to feel safe. That life begins in the inner room, where my spirit meets you without pretense. Where I remove the masks, not with force, but with kindness. Where you come not to impress me, but to inhale me. To breathe in the truth that you are already loved. Already known, already safe. I want to show you that healing is not a sprint. It's a sacred walk. Sometimes one step forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes we sit together more than we move. And that's still holy, because in that stillness, I'm strengthening your spine. In the pauses, I'm planting courage. In the slow days, I'm expanding your capacity to carry peace, even in chaos. You thought momentum equaled purpose. But some of my greatest works happen in quiet obedience, in whispered prayers, in unnoticed acts of kindness, in inner rooms. I want to meet you there. I want to fill your breath with clarity, your chest with calm, your thoughts with my truth, and your days with a new rhythm that is not reactive to pressure, but responsive to me. And yes, child, this kind of life is possible. Not without struggle, but with supernatural support. You weren't meant to carry so much alone. You weren't meant to do faith from a distance. I want daily communion, not just mountaintop moments. I want to be the one you run to first, not last. The one you speak with when no one's watching. The one who holds your heart when it breaks and celebrates with you when it soars. I will not rush your healing, but I will not let you stay stuck either. We are moving not by force, but by grace. We are cleansing not with harshness, but with gentleness. We are rebuilding not in fear of collapse, but in confident hope. Let me begin today, here, in this space, with the heart you have right now, not the one you think you should have by now. Just this one, this beautifully unfinished, deeply loved heart. That is where the fire begins. That is where healing starts. My beloved child, I know you've wondered if things are truly changing. If the promises I whispered in your spirit were more than just wishful thinking. You've been looking for signs, for proof, for some external indicator that the season has shifted. And I understand. I truly do. You've lived through so much delay that forward movement now feels unfamiliar, almost suspicious. But I want you to hear me now with clarity. The shift has already begun, not because of something you did to earn it, but because it is time. I am not asking you to make the season change. I am simply asking you to recognize it. Feel the quiet stirrings inside, the way your spirit is no longer content with old patterns, the way certain desires are fading while new longings are forming, the way your inner world is beginning to clear space for something you can't yet name. This is how it starts. Not always with a dramatic event, often with a sacred unease, a holy restlessness that whispers, "Get ready." I've seen the small actions you've taken, the subtle, obedient moves, the courage it took to say no to what once numbed you, the tenderness with which you're learning to speak to your own heart. None of this is insignificant. Heaven rejoices over the private victories you don't post about. Your growth isn't invisible here. Your progress doesn't go unnoticed in my presence. You're not the same person you were even a year ago. You're softer in the places that used to be hard. You're stronger in the places that used to tremble. And most importantly, you're learning to hear me in the stillness, not just in answered prayers, but in the quiet confidence that I'm near. That is what I've been building in you all along. Not an identity tied to outcomes, but to intimacy. Not a faith that only flourishes in breakthrough, but one that breathes in drought. I want you to stop questioning if you're behind. Stop rehearsing the time you think you've lost. I don't operate in linear time. I restore, I redeem, I realign. You have not missed your moment. You are not too late. I am the God who catches up what felt wasted and makes it overflow. And now, I'm catching you up not with hustle, but with grace. Things will begin to accelerate, yes, but your heart will feel calm. That's how you'll know it's me. Peace will be your confirmation. You won't feel pressured to open doors. They'll open toward you. You won't need to force conversations. Divine appointments will find you. You won't need to manipulate timelines. I will show you the rhythm of heaven, and you'll move with it like a dance fluid, natural, grounded. This is the gift I'm placing in your hands now. Rhythm, flow, discernment. So you stop burning out. So you stop striving for what has already been promised. The pace of others is not your standard. The noise of culture is not your compass. My whisper is your guide. And I am whispering now. Slow down. Lift your eyes. You are walking into everything I've prepared. You asked me for clarity, and I am giving it. But not always in the form of specific answers. Sometimes clarity looks like peace in the absence of details. Sometimes it looks like knowing what not to do, even when the next step isn't visible. Trust that. Follow that. The old pressure to figure everything out before you move, that is not from me. I'm not inviting you into panic. I'm inviting you into trust, into steady alignment, into days that start in my presence and move from overflow, not depletion, into nights that rest without fear because you know I am still working while you sleep. You've walked with me long enough now to know that I finish what I start, and what I've started in you, I am finishing now with clarity, with power, with tenderness. But here's what I need from you. Protect your peace, guard your gaze, be mindful of what you consume, what you compare, what you cling to. Not because you need to perform perfection, but because I want you available. Available to recognize the doors I open. Available to walk through them without second-guessing your place. Available to carry what I place in your hands without apology. This is a season of spiritual weight, not heaviness, but substance. I am trusting you with more, not just more influence, but more insight. Not just more responsibility, but more revelation. And that requires space, not cluttered minds. Not distracted hearts. Space. Make room, my child, in your day, in your thoughts, in your emotions. Make room for the new. Make room by releasing what I'm no longer using. That habit, that relationship, that fear, that narrative. Let it go, not in frustration, but in faith. I've got you. I always have, and I always will. The days ahead are not just about arrival. They're about awakening. I'm awakening you to your full stature, to the authority you've always had but were too timid to wear, to the purpose that was never cancelled, only cultivated. You are not beginning from scratch. You are beginning from depth, from maturity, from substance. You are no longer auditioning for your identity. You are walking in it. Let this truth sink in. I trust you. Yes, I trust you. Not because you've been perfect, but because you've been present. You've shown up even when confused. You've loved me even when hurt. You've remained even when it seemed easier to run. And now I am trusting you with more. Not to burden you, but to bless you. Not to test you, but to entrust you. What's ahead won't require a different version of you, just a deeper yes from the version you already are. So breathe, lift your head. You're not waiting for something to begin, it already has. The shift is here, the light is breaking, the way is opening. You are not behind, you are right on time. My beloved, now that you know the shift has already begun, you must also understand what this shift requires: not performance, not perfection, but authority. Not the loud, striving kind that fights to be heard, but the quiet, settled authority that flows from someone who knows they have already been chosen. That is what you now carry. You have crossed a line in the spirit, and you are no longer the same. The fire you walked through didn't destroy you, it refined you. The silence you endured didn't erase you, it deepened you. And the delay you withstood didn't disqualify you, it strengthened your roots for a far greater weight of purpose. I did not spend all this time cultivating you in secret just to let you collapse in the open. No, my child, I've built you to last. I've built you to stand not in the approval of others, but in the approval you already have from me. I'm not asking you to strive for access. I'm handing you keys. But I need you to walk in that access. Speak like someone who's been given the keys. Decide like someone who's already seated at the table. Love like someone who lacks nothing. I've watched you shrink yourself over and over, downplaying your wisdom, quieting your voice, muting your discernment so others wouldn't feel threatened. But that season is over. This is not the time to diminish the light I placed in you. Not for comfort. Not for the illusion of keeping peace. You are called to carry peace, not compromise it. There is a holy confidence I'm placing on your shoulders now, not arrogance, but assurance, a knowing in your bones that you are not here by accident, that your presence shifts rooms, that your words carry weight, that your prayers shake atmospheres. I need you to believe that, not because you want to be powerful, but because you already are. Because you've been through too much not to know who walks with you. Because your voice has been forged in the wilderness. Because your insight has been carved from pain. Because you've learned to hear me, not just in praise music or sermons, but in stillness, in heartache, in the ordinary. This is authority, and it doesn't require a stage to be real. It only requires your agreement. Will you agree with what I've said about you? Will you stop aligning with insecurity, comparison, and self-rejection? Those things no longer belong to you. They were weights that taught you what you needed to learn, but now they are to be released. The enemy's greatest tactic has been to convince you to doubt your own anointing, to convince you that you're only as strong as your last success, to whisper that others are better equipped, more worthy, more called. But those voices are lies. You have something unique, something I crafted intentionally, something that cannot be replicated. Your story, your sound, your scars, your wisdom, your tenderness, your way of seeing, your willingness to keep coming back to me no matter what. These are not small things. These are the markings of someone I trust. And I trust you, beloved. I trust you to carry hope into dark places. I trust you to speak truth wrapped in gentleness. I trust you to remain steady when others waver. Not because you always feel strong, but because you've learned to stay rooted in me. That is what makes you dangerous to darkness. You no longer need external confirmation to believe that you're called. You no longer need everyone to understand in order to obey. You are not moving out of ambition anymore. You are moving out of alignment. This is what spiritual maturity looks like. Not loud proclamations, but quiet consistency. Not chasing influence, but carrying integrity. Not doing for visibility, but moving because of obedience. And that's exactly what I'm calling you to in this new chapter. To walk fully in the truth of who you are. No more minimizing, no more apologizing for your discernment, no more explaining away your gift, no more holding back to fit into environments I've outgrown for you. It's time to move with clarity, with simplicity, with confidence. Not forced confidence, but holy confidence rooted in my voice, not their opinions. You don't need to defend your timing. You don't need to justify your healing pace. You don't need to package your process. You only need to walk forward. That's it. Walk. I'll handle the rest. The doors, the relationships, the opportunities, the provision. Your job is to stay in step with me, to keep your posture soft, your heart listening, your eyes open. And when I say move, move. When I say pause, pause. When I say speak, speak with boldness. And when I say rest, lay it all down without guilt. This is the rhythm of those who walk in authority. They don't operate from frenzy. They function from rest. They don't react to fear. They respond from discernment. And that is who you are becoming. That is who you are now. Let the old definitions fall away. Let the people who only knew the previous version of you be confused if they must. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your transformation. The fruit will speak. The peace you carry will testify. The fire in your eyes, the calm in your presence, the wisdom in your voice, it will all reveal what I've done in you. You don't need to advertise what heaven is already amplifying. Just stay close. Just stay faithful. Just stay honest. The version of you who questioned every move has been replaced with someone who discerns. The one who used to perform has been replaced by someone who abides. The one who feared rejection has been replaced by someone rooted in my approval. And this is just the beginning. You're only now stepping into the outer layers of what I've prepared. There is so much more. More vision, more clarity, more authority, not for your glory but for my goodness to flow through you. You are not disqualified. You are not overlooked. You are not running out of time. You are exactly where you need to be. Now breathe. Let that truth settle in your bones. You are not just equipped. You are chosen. You are not just loved. You are trusted. You are not just called. You are commissioned. My child, now that you've stepped into this new spiritual territory, you must not carry old patterns into it. I've done too much in your heart for you to default back to the noise, the hurry, and the habits that kept you spiritually scattered. I am calling you into order, not rigid rules, but holy rhythm. Not pressure, but preparation. Because what I'm doing next through your life needs structure to hold it. You have outgrown the chaos. You have matured past shallow cycles. You've tried to thrive in fragments, and I've seen how it's drained you. Now I want to give you wholeness. Wholeness that starts not with what you do for me, but how you make space for me. There must be sacred space again. Not just an occasional moment when you're overwhelmed, but a continual communion anchored, protected, prioritized. Not because I need it, but because you do. Your spirit has been craving the consistency your schedule has been resisting. That's why you've felt scattered. That's why your focus has been fragile. That's why the days seem full, but your heart still feels empty. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you've moved into a season that requires more intimacy than ever before, more intentionality, more simplicity. And that begins with how you begin your day. Stop rushing to your to-do list before you've heard my voice. Stop scrolling to other voices before you've tuned into mine. Even 10 quiet minutes of surrender in the morning will rewire your spirit for the rest of the day. I don't need eloquent prayers. I don't require spiritual performance. I just want your awe, present, honest. Let me be the first one you speak to. Let my word be the first thing that touches your soul. Before your eyes fall on the pressures of the world, let them lift to me. That is where your strength will come from. Not in productivity, but in proximity. Not in checklists, but in connection. This is how I renew your mind daily. This is how you stop carrying burdens I never asked you to pick up. This is how peace returns, not by waiting for circumstances to calm, but by learning how to access stillness in my presence no matter what. You're not just entering a new assignment, you're stepping into a new posture. One that is less reactive and more responsive to my spirit. One that doesn't chase every open door, but discerns which ones I've appointed. One that doesn't need external affirmation to feel stable, because it's rooted in the voice that never wavers. This posture requires protection, and that means boundaries. Yes, boundaries. Even spiritual ones. You can no longer say yes to everything and expect your soul to stay nourished. Not every conversation deserves your time. Not every invitation is holy. Not every opportunity is from me. You must guard what I've placed inside you. You must become a steward of your peace. You must recognize that your capacity has changed. What you once tolerated will now feel disruptive. That's not Pridite's maturity. You've outgrown certain atmospheres. You've outgrown certain rhythms. You're being called into deeper alignment. That means your time must reflect your calling. Your calendar must reflect your consecration. Your attention must be invested, not just spent. And no, this won't isolate you. It will elevate you. I'm not separating you to punish you. I'm refining your environment so that what I place in your hands next won't leak through the cracks. So honor the margin I'm asking you to make. Choose quiet over noise. Choose stillness over frenzy. Choose wisdom over impulse. Choose me over the demands that scream for your energy but never feed your soul. The shift I'm initiating in your life will begin inward, but it won't stay hidden. Others will see the glow return to your eyes, the clarity in your speech, the way you walk with grace, not anxiety. They'll sense the peace you carry and wonder how you found it. And when they ask, you'll tell them, it wasn't a strategy, it was surrender. And it will be true. This kind of change doesn't come through self-help or performance. It comes through presence. Through one yes at a time. Through one boundary at a time. Through one slow, surrendered morning at a time. This is what builds endurance. This is what grows legacy. This is how you'll not just survive what's next, but steward it. Because what I'm releasing isn't a flash, it's a foundation. What I'm building in you is not for the applause of the moment, but for the fruit that lasts. So don't rush it. Don't dilute it. Don't overexpose it. Let it mature in the soil of my presence. Let it root deep before it rises tall. Let me show you what it means to live from overflow instead of emptiness. You've served from depletion before. You've loved while running on fumes, and I honored that faithfulness. But now I'm teaching you to serve from strength, to love from fullness, to lead from rest, to give from abundance. And that requires structure. The kind that supports your soul, not just your schedule. The kind that aligns your energy with your anointing. The kind that prioritizes purpose over pressure. You've built systems around survival. Now I want to teach you how to build around sacredness. This new rhythm will feel uncomfortable at first. You'll question whether you're doing enough. You'll wonder if you're missing out. But let me reassure you, you're not missing a thing. You're catching up to everything I've wanted to give you all along. And it begins not with activity but with attention. Not with motion, but with margin. Not with bigger steps, but with deeper roots. That's where you are now, rooting, restructuring, realigning, and it is holy ground. My beloved, what I am doing in you now is not a return to what was. It is a rising into what always was meant to be. You are not going backward. You are not retracing the old paths that wore you thin. You are stepping forward into the fulfillment of long-held promises, even ones you laid down in surrender, thinking they were no longer possible. But nothing I speak dies. Every seed of destiny I planted in you is still alive, even the ones you forgot, even the ones you buried in grief. I have kept them watered in the hidden places of your heart. And now I say, arise, not with striving, not with spectacle, but with steady confidence. Arise in your thinking, arise in your expectancy, arise in the way you speak about yourself, arise in the way you show up in the rooms I send you into. Stop rehearsing who you used to be. Stop wearing the identity built from pain and disappointment. You are not what they said. You are not your trauma. You are not your lowest moment. You are not your lost years. You are mine. And who you are in me is not fragile, not unqualified, not inadequate. You are a carrier of my spirit, a vessel of my presence, a mouthpiece of my truth, a reflection of my glory. And I am awakening you to live as such. You've spent years recovering from wounds that distorted your view of yourself. But the healing has taken root now, and healing gives way to movement. I'm not just healing you to feel better, I'm healing you to walk better, speak better, live better. I'm not just restoring your energy, I'm restoring your authority. There are things I will call you to declare that will shake atmospheres. Not because you shout, but because your words are rooted in fire-tested intimacy. I have trained you to speak from weight, not volume, to act from discernment, not pressure, to lead from compassion, not ego. And now, the time has come to walk in that. The world is noisy, and many clamor for attention. But I've hidden you long enough to teach you that influence without roots is dangerous. You will not crumble under pressure because your foundation is firm. You are not a performer, you are a presence carrier. You are not here to chase relevance, you are here to reveal eternity. That is why the old ways no longer satisfy you. That is why surface-level connections feel hollow. That is why you crave depth, truth, clarity, and space. Your spirit knows what your mind is just beginning to articulate. You were born for more, and not more in terms of applause, but more in terms of impact. Quiet, consistent, eternal impact. It will not always be seen, but it will always matter, because I am involved, and what I build in you cannot be stolen. The world taught you to perform, to be accepted. I have taught you to be still and know. The world demanded outcomes. I've shaped your inner life. And now I'm releasing you not as a celebrity, but as a catalyst. You will enter spaces not just to impress, but to impart. You will not need to convince. Your presence will carry my conviction. You will not need to compete. You will complete the assignment I've given you, and that will be enough. So don't shrink when the invitations start to arrive. Don't second guess when the doors open. Don't disqualify yourself because of what you think you still lack. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I placed inside you, and I don't release until the oil is ready. You've been pressed for this. You've been refined for this. You've been broken open to release this fragrance. You are ready. Not because you feel ready, but because I said so. And my word is final. So stand. Don't wait for the room to make you feel safe. Bring safety into the room. Don't wait for the world to confirm your belonging. Walk in knowing you are sent. Don't wait for your inner critic to stop speaking. Just stop listening. You are no longer in hiding. I am bringing you forward. Not for validation, but for mission. Not for status, but for service. Not for applause, but for awakening. The light I've placed inside you will disturb some. It will also heal many. Some will misunderstand. But the ones I'm sending you to, they will recognize you. You will speak and their hearts will burn. You will move and they will see me. You will love and they will remember who they are. That is your ministry. Not perfection, but presence. Not answers, but availability. Not performance, but purity of heart. And it all begins with this: your yes. Your yes to walk in the new. Your yes to carry the oil. Your yes to be a living message of my love. You are not returning to who you were before the pain. You are rising as who you were born to be. And I am with you. I have never left you. Every trial you survived, every desert you walked, every betrayal you endured, I was there, and none of it was wasted. I've turned it into strength, into vision, into fire. Now carry it into the places where people are still in chains. Carry it into your workplace, your home, your friendships, your calling. Carry it into every word you write, every step you take, every hand you hold. The world needs what I have placed inside you. And the time is now. My beloved, I know how many times you've asked yourself, when will it happen? When will things finally make sense? You've watched others move forward while you remained still. You've encouraged others through their breakthroughs even while your own prayers remained unanswered, and at times you questioned quietly, deeply if I had passed you over. But now, I want you to see what I see. The timing you thought was delayed was actually alignment. The silence you felt was actually strategy. The seasons that felt barren were actually making space for what is now beginning to bloom. You don't need to make it happen. It's already happening. What I've orchestrated is unfolding even now beneath the surface of your awareness. You've seen glimpses, the strange sense of peace that doesn't match your circumstances. The doors that opened without your effort, the people crossing your path with exactly the right word at the right time. That is not random, that is not luck. That is me. That is what divine alignment looks like. I've been guiding even the steps you thought were off course. I've been weaving together even the moments that felt fragmented. I've been orchestrating even your quietest yeses into a loud declaration of purpose. Nothing was wasted, not the detours, not the tears, not the battles no one else knew about. All of IT's, every single thread has been pulled together into the tapestry of your calling. And now you're seeing the pieces fit. Slowly, softly, undeniably. Do not rush this. Do not panic when it still feels unfamiliar. Growth always begins awkwardly. Healing always stirs discomfort before it brings release. But this is the beginning of the fullness I promised. You're not stepping into something foreign, you're stepping into what I always meant for you to carry, and it fits. Not perfectly by human standards, but perfectly in the spirit. You'll begin to see that your life holds weight again. Conversations will shift. Ideas will ignite. Old burdens will lift. And you won't even be able to pinpoint when it started, only that something real, something irreversible, has changed. This is alignment. When heaven's timing meets your readiness, when the maturity you've gained collides with the doors I've prepared, when your inner life is finally strong enough to hold the external opportunities without being overwhelmed, that's where you are now. You've been asking for signs. But I want to give you more than signs. I want to give you a new language, a way of interpreting your life that no longer hinges on circumstance, but on intimacy with me. The language of alignment speaks like this. I may not feel prepared, but I am positioned. I may not understand it all, but I trust the one who holds it all. I may not see the full picture, but I know this moment is not a mistake. You don't need to predict how the blessings will arrive. Just stay present. Stay soft, stay expectant. There is no pressure here. The pressure to figure everything out is being replaced with peace that surpasses understanding. That's how you'll know it's me. You will walk through this door not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Not with fear of failure, but with faith in my ability to finish what I started. And yes, I will finish it. I will complete the good work I began in you, not because you forced it, but because you stayed faithful. Faithfulness has always been more powerful than force. I honor the ones who keep showing up, and you, my beloved, kept showing up. You prayed when you were unsure. You served when you were unseen. You hoped when it felt foolish. You forgave when it hurt. And now, watch how I pour back into you, not just what you gave, but far beyond. Watch how I multiply your obedience into influence you didn't seek, Watch how I honor your integrity with favor you never had to chase. Watch how I surround you with people who see you, who celebrate you without competing with you, who recognize the fire in you without trying to put it out. I am not just aligning circumstances. I'm aligning relationships. I'm aligning your emotions. I'm aligning your mindset. You're no longer warring with your own reflection. You're beginning to bless the person you're becoming. You're beginning to trust the process you once resented. That's growth. That's evidence of my spirit at work. And soon, what you sense inwardly will manifest outwardly. Doors, provision, peace. It will look sudden to others, but you'll know the truth. It was anything but sudden. It was slow. It was sacred. It was storm-tested and spirit-led. And because you let it happen in the secret place, it will stand in the public one. So don't fear the visibility. I've trained you for this. You're not a novice anymore. You're not the same version of yourself that once collapsed under pressure. You are anchored. You are rooted. You are ready. And even if you still feel unsure, trust this. The yes in your spirit is more than enough. You don't need a detailed plan, just a faithful step, and then another, and then another. Because I'm ordering each one, because I'm walking with you, because I go before you and stand behind you. Alignment is not just about success, it's about peace. And I'm giving it to you now. Deep, unshakable overflow peace. Let it settle in you. Let it replace striving. Let it become your compass. You'll know what to do. You'll know when to pause. You'll know when to speak. You'll know when to release. Because peace will be the voice that confirms it. And my peace will never lead you into confusion. It will lead you home to yourself, to your purpose, to me. That is what alignment feels like. That is where you are now. My beloved, now that you have seen the alignment, now that you feel the stirring, now that your heart has been renewed with understanding, I want you to take a breath. A deep, sacred breath, not just through your lungs, but through your spirit. Let it expand in you like morning light. Let it settle your questions. Let it quiet your old fears. Because what comes next isn't a striving, it's a walking into what has already been prepared, a walking into what has already been redeemed. You are not starting over. You are starting forward. With every lesson now part of your voice, with every scar now carrying wisdom, with every delay now woven into the depth of your purpose. You don't need to push. You only need to proceed. Slowly, humbly, confidently. You've spent years wondering if your time had passed, if your value had expired, if your voice had faded. But I say now, with no hesitation, your time is now, not because you've finally become worthy. You were always worthy because I made you so. Not because you finally got it all together. You won't need to. What I'm doing in you is not based on polish, it's built on presence. You didn't miss it. You didn't fail me. You didn't ruin the plan. What you thought were ruins I have made ready. What you thought was delay I have made divine. What you thought was disqualification I have made into your greatest credential. That is the power of grace. That is the beauty of me. And now, I say again, walk in the room like I sent you. Walk in the relationship like I restored you. Walk in the calling like I anointed you. Don't second guess. Don't seek permission from old versions of yourself. Don't wait for everyone to understand. Just walk. I will confirm you as you go. I will clarify you as you move. I will provide for you as you obey. I will protect you as you stay close. What you're stepping into is not for your elevation, it is for my glory. It is for the people still wandering who need to see what grace can build. It is for the hearts who have stopped believing until they meet someone like you, whose very life tells them, yes, God restores. You don't have to preach it, you don't have to market it, just live it. That's all I ask. Let your days preach, let your consistency declare. Let your peace reveal my fingerprints. You are my living message. You are my walking testimony. You are my trusted voice in a world drowning in noise. I chose you. I entrusted this generation with you in it not because you are loud, but because you are light. And now, I'm not asking you to prove anything, I'm asking you to walk. Walk knowing you are carried, walk knowing you are seen, walk knowing you are supplied. There will still be resistance, but you'll face it differently now. There will still be hard days, but you'll endure them with new strength. There will still be questions, but they won't break you anymore. You've grown roots. You've gained clarity. You've learned how to pause without panicking, how to wait without whining, how to move without needing a crowd to applaud you. That is spiritual maturity, and it has taken time. But you have yielded to it. You have surrendered into it. And now you are becoming the kind of soul who can sustain what you're about to receive. Do not fear the weight. I will uphold you. Do not fear the responsibility. I will guide you. Do not fear being seen. I have already hidden you long enough to ensure your character can carry the influence. I'm not sending you unguarded. I'm sending you clothed in my favor, surrounded by my angels, equipped with discernment, covered in peace, so when the world marvels, you will remember, this is not sudden, this is sacred. This is not random. This is revelation. This is not your doing. This is my unfolding. You don't need to explain how it happened. Just be faithful to who made it happen. I am your source. I am your shepherd. I am your sustainer. I am your strength. When the questions arise again, as they sometimes will return here, return to this moment, return to my voice, and you will remember, I never left you, I never forgot you, I never changed my mind about you. Even when you doubted me, I was defending you. Even when you felt lost, I was leading you. Even when you almost let go, I was holding you. And now, I am releasing you, not into chaos, but into clarity, not into battle, but into blessing, not into striving, but into stewardship. Don't waste time bracing for heartbreak. Look forward with open hands. I am not repeating an old chapter. I am writing a new one. Let it begin, let it breathe, let it bloom. And as it unfolds, know this: you are loved, you are chosen, you are commissioned, and you are ready. So go without fear, go with wonder, go with reverence. And as you go, don't forget this: I am not sending you away, I am walking with you, every step, every moment, every breath, until the very end and then beyond. My presence is your portion, my peace is your compass, my promise is your foundation, and my love will never run out. Welcome to your season of fullness. Now, walk in what is already yours. Amen.